Hello everyone, in this week's video I'm going to be doing some TikTok OC challenges. I posted on my community tab asking all of you for some challenge ideas, and it seems like many of you really like it when I do OC design challenges. I've been kind of avoiding them because I don't need more OCs, but I do think they're very fun, and since you all wanted to see me do some more design challenges, and I had come across some fun ones I wanted to try, I figured I would do them. However, this time around I've decided I will most likely not make these be OCs. Instead, I will think of these as purely a design challenge. Unless I make something I really like, then maybe I'll make it be an official OC. Anyways, the first challenge I'm trying is the Create Your Weirdcore OC challenge. The character's features are decided based on the following different criteria. If your favorite color is white or black, you give that as your skin color. If your favorite color is anything else, you can use that as well. So I guess make the skin color your favorite color. I've been really into the combo of blue, pink, and yellow recently, so I want to do a combo of those, I think. If you have green eyes, your character gets 2 eyes. If you have blue eyes, your character gets 1 eye. And if you have brown eyes, your character gets button eyes. I have brown eyes, so button eyes it is. If you have a pet dog or cat, you put a mouth on the stomach. If you have a pet reptile or fish, you put a normal mouth. And if you have no pets, your character gets no mouth. I don't have any pets, so my character gets no mouth. If you have 0 to 1 siblings, you make the OC a clown. If you have 2 to 3 siblings, you give multiple eyes. And if you have 4 plus siblings, you give scars. I have 8 siblings, so my character has scars. If you like horror movies, give floating limbs. If you like dramatic movies, give them bat wings. And if you like cartoons, give them claws. I like cartoons, so we get claws. If you wear pastels, have the character wear that. If you wear a combination of dark and bright clothes, you get neon colors. If you wear dark colors, your OC gets a suit. I wear a mixture, so we get neon colors. And the rest is up to me. So before jumping into designing the character, I needed to research what weirdcore is exactly. And according to what shows up when I search weirdcore on Pinterest and Google, I get some, weird results. A lot of the things I found that were consistent were eyes, clocks, clouds, angel wings, mushrooms, CRT TVs, and kind of nostalgic or slightly off-putting imagery. I don't know, because there's something kind of soft and nostalgic about the things I saw, but also something kind of weird and off-putting about a lot of it. Also, if there were people, they never had human heads. They would often have TV, eye, or flower heads. So yeah, now that I had a better idea of what weirdcore is, I felt more prepared to jump into the drawing. Because I got button eyes and claws, this brought to mind a teddy bear. Even more so because I chose different colors for the skin, so the different parts can be different colors. And the character needs to have scars, and I'll draw these as rips in the fabric. Also, I wanted to include some angel wings, since I kept seeing those in a lot of the weirdcore stuff. Now, I didn't want to just draw a straight up teddy bear. I wanted to try to morph it a bit to make it more humanoid. I felt like this might be kind of weird, but we are doing weirdcore, so I guess that's okay. We are just sticking to the theme. I am sketching out a similar concept to the first one, but like I said, I'm now making it more human-like. Since it is more human-like, I need to decide on what clothes it should wear. When I looked up weirdcore fashion, it gave me 90s vibes. Once again, a kind of nostalgic feeling and kind of childlike. There were a lot of sweaters and shirts of colors and stripes. I decided to give this character a collared sweater that is striped, overalls that have an eye in the middle of them. I figured I needed to try to include the eyes that are so prominent in this core. And I was also considering adding leg warmers to add interest to the lower part of the body. Oh, and I was also considering having one of the legs be missing, but I ended up not going with that idea. I liked this concept, but it was very rough and almost felt too humanoid. So for the final concept, I wanted to include more of a teddy bear feel and make things less messy. To keep the teddy bear feel, I try to keep the head a bit rounder, and at first I don't give the character any eyelashes, but I decide to add some later just to help the character feel a bit more alive. Also, since I'm supposed to include scars and stuff, I decide to have the head not be attached to the body, once again to try to add a sort of off-putting feel to the character. For the outfit, I kept things pretty similar to my first idea. I just cleaned things up so the details are more readable and I can get a better idea for things. I really hope I'm not totally off as to what weirdcore is. If I'm getting the aesthetic wrong, you can blame Google and Pinterest. I'm just going off of what they showed me. I've never really heard much about weirdcore. For the arms, I thought it'd be interesting to have the one be torn at the shoulder and it's just a bit connected down by the armpit. The hands will just slightly peek out, and I made sure to add the claws like the challenge wanted. For the legs, the one on our right will have a flower pattern and will have a rip in the knee. The other leg will be a solid color and it will be wearing a leg warmer with stripes that match the sweater. Also, I'm going to add a seam to the thigh of the leg later, and this kind of suggests that maybe she had to have her leg replaced. Here's where I give the eyelashes, and I also try to decide what I want to do with the head. It felt too empty and I wanted to add something to it, but I wasn't sure what to add. Hair felt a bit too odd. A headband kind of helped, but it still felt kind of empty. Headphones made no sense because of the ear placement, and I took a break from that for a moment to add the angel wings. I kept these very simple and cartoony. A lot of the angel wings I would see looked kind of cheesy or not super realistic, so I kind of mimicked that. I then added some more scars or stitches to the face to add in more of the scar requirements to the design. I thought about having her be missing one eye, but decided to keep both of them since the design does say eyes and not eye. Deciding the colors was a bit of a process. I wanted to go with a kind of 90s color palette for the clothes and kept trying different combos. I ended up finding that I liked the sweater and leg warmer being many different colors, and then having the overalls be black. It makes them feel kind of out of place and more ominous. Oh, and I decided to bring the hair back. I went with a yellow at first, but it felt too Barbie-like, so I changed it to purple. I thought maybe making it more unrealistic colors would help the bear still feel toy-like and not too humanoid. Also, I kept debating if I wanted to include a muzzle or not. At this point, I thought maybe I liked the design more without the muzzle, and I ended up keeping that for a good majority of the time I was working on this piece. But in the end, I decided to add it back because I thought it helped push the idea that it's kind of a teddy bear sort of thing. So yeah, I'll add that back in towards the end. So here's my design, and now I will draw it out in a more finished illustration. For the pose, I wanted something kind of simple that showed off the design. I decided on a pose that is turned in 3/4 view and the character is floating a bit. The leg on the left will be slightly bent and the arm on the right will be bent to add some interest to the pose. I didn't want to have her limbs all just be down and lifeless. I wanted to make the silhouette kind of interesting. So like I said, for these characters, I'm trying to treat them more as just design challenges. And I'm going to try my best to not make them be like official OCs. That being said, my brain couldn't help coming up with some lore ideas for this character. My brain named this character Teddy. I know it's a really basic name because teddy bear, but like it feels like it fits, so I'm going with it. As I was drawing this character, I was trying to make sort of a backstory for it, or I was trying to think as to why this character is like this. But the character is so weird and different that I was having a hard time coming up with something that wasn't just completely weird or nonsensical. One main thing my thoughts keep coming back to is that the character isn't alive. I mean, her head isn't connected to her body, so... Plus, she has angel wings, so maybe she had died and is an angel now. Maybe there was a girl that had a teddy bear that she loved a lot. She played with it so much that it often had to be repaired by the girl's older sister, and this is why there's so many stitches and parts replaced. And then one day, maybe the girl dies somehow, but her love for her teddy bear and her sister allows her to like fuse with the teddy bear, and she becomes a guardian angel for her sister or something. I don't know. Another idea I had was that it was just a toy teddy bear and maybe it lives in a world like Toy Story where toys are alive. But this teddy bear was broken beyond repair and died, I guess. However, because of its great love for its owner, it now watches over them as a guardian angel. I guess this seems like a sort of okay idea, but I kind of want an explanation for the eye overalls. Maybe to become a guardian angel, the teddy bear had to make some kind of deal with some sort of being, and the being is always watching from the overalls, making sure that Teddy is holding up to her end of the deal, I guess, whatever the deal is. So yeah, those are my random thoughts trying to make sense of Teddy and her story. If you have any ideas, feel free to share them. None of this is like set in stone or anything, I'm just rambling different ideas at this point. Anyways, as you can see, I moved to footage captured by my camera and I am filming my screen. I'm trying to remember to include some footage in this way since a lot of you say that you like it. But for the background, I drew in a bunch of random things like eyes, stars, planets, mushrooms, things I often saw with weirdcore, and to help them pop, I gave them a white outline. For the rendering, I kept things really simple. I wanted to go more stylistic for this piece, so I'm just adding simple cell shading with a purple color around the whole character. This is basically how I shade my webcomic since it's simple and quick to do. Speaking of my webcomic, many of you have been asking when I plan to post the next chapter, and I'm hoping for late September or early October, depending on how fast I can get the pages done. I want to say thank you so much for your patience with me taking a break from my webcomic because I was planning my wedding and stuff, and this also being a longer chapter. The wait has been longer than usual. But yeah, a new chapter is coming and I am working on it, so thank you for your patience. For the background, I decided to add a stripe pattern. I don't know, I kind of just grabbed something and went with it. I didn't put too much thought into this part. And I added in the muzzle off camera, so you won't see it here, but you will see it now in the final picture. This was a very different experience. I've never designed a humanoid angel teddy bear. And that's always the fun part about these OC challenges. They encourage me to do stuff that I wouldn't usually do, and some of my favorite characters have been made because of these challenges. Now we will move on to the next challenge, but before we jump into that, I wanted to let you all know that NOC and I have collaborated to make some really cute products featuring my art. There's a sticker sheet, notepad, and acrylic standee featuring Doris in my hyper style. I think they're all super cute. I've always wanted to make acrylic standees of my characters, so I'm really happy we got to work together on this. I'll leave a link down in the description if you want to check it out. So next I'm doing the Fruit OC challenge. The gender is my choice, and I think I'm going to make it a girl. What fruit I get to use for my theme is based on my birth month. I was born in December, so I get dragon fruit. I was prepared for this to be simple, like apple or strawberry, but I guess I get dragon fruit, so I guess this will be interesting. I need to give them a fruit-themed hat. The eye color is the color of my shirt. I was wearing a black and green Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shirt. I mostly think of it as green, so I'll go with green. The hair color is the color of my bed sheets. They are basically white. They have a light gray pattern on them, but the overall color is white. The outfit needs to be the color of my favorite fruit, and I often say my favorite fruit is plums. I love super ripe and sweet plums. They can be really hard to get, but they are so good when you do. If I am wearing socks, I give my OC a fruit staff. If not, they get a fruit wand. I was not wearing socks, so they get a wand. I need to include patterns of the fruit we got in the outfit, and the rest is up to me. At first, the idea of having to work with dragon fruit scared me. Like I said, I was expecting this to be simple and that I would get an easy to work with fruit. If you don't know what dragon fruit is, here's a picture of it. It's spiky on the outside and is often white with seeds on the inside. I was prepared for this design process to be challenging or to take me a long time. However, to my surprise, I came up with a concept pretty quickly. I wanted to make a little dragon princess because, you know, dragon fruit equals dragon-themed character. I'm not totally sure why I wanted to make her be a young princess. I guess that part just kind of sounded fun to add in. I have a lot of teenage or adult OCs. I wanted to add another young one, even if she doesn't officially become a part of my OCs. I'm trying here. Throughout the character design, I wanted to include elements that take characteristics from the dragon fruit. Like I'll make her horns flare out and have a pointy texture like the fruit. And I include the pointy shapes throughout her design. I was trying my best to avoid round shapes. Picking her colors was pretty simple because a lot of them were decided by the challenge itself. I made her dress be the color of plums, her hair be the color of my sheets, the eyes be the color of my shirt. And I also tried to include pink and green where I could to include more of the dragon fruit colors. So yeah, that's my little dragon princess. Now let's draw her. When thinking of a concept, I remembered that she is supposed to have a fruit wand, and I thought it might be cute if she was using the wand to make a dragon fruit float above her. Our viewpoint is looking down at her a bit, and she's in a kind of walking position. For this, I actually made a reference for myself using 3D models. I talked a bit about how I do this in one of my YouTube shorts, and it can be really helpful, especially when you have a specific idea in mind, but you also want some references to help you out a bit. Oh, also the program I use is Clip Studio Paint, People often ask what I use for the 3D models, and Clip Studio Paint has 3D models built into it. But if you don't have Clip Studio Paint, I know there are a lot of different apps and options for posable 3D models to use as references. Once I sketched out my rough idea, I transformed the sketch a bit to help push the perspective. I then went over my rough sketch with a cleanup sketch. We're going to skip that footage since it's just me drawing over my sketch. And instead, I'm going to go to camera footage for the line art. Also, sorry if you see my mouth moving or my phone come into view. I'm going to try to edit most of that out, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to get all of it out. I was texting my family, my husband, and talking to my sister on the phone as I was working on this. My sister and I were catching up on life and random things. Now that I don't live at home, it's kind of harder to stay up to date with everyone since I'm not just there all the time. So doing things like talking on the phone is a nice way to stay in touch. I'm gonna be honest, going from living with a large family to living with only one other person can feel very lonely at times. I'm fine once my husband is home and there's someone else to talk to, but when he's at work all day, I tend to get lonely. There are some days I feel very used to it and I have grown more accustomed to it, but some days it's really hard. I'm not used to being left alone with work and my thoughts for long periods of time. I've also learned I have a hard time staying focused or staying on task sometimes. I always kind of thought it was my siblings and my family keeping me distracted or interrupting my work, which they often were. It's just now that there's no things to distract me, I make my own distractions. And a lot of times they aren't like bad distractions, but like I'll start tidying up the apartment or organizing a random thing, or I'll go on a walk, or I get distracted when I open the internet to grab something I need for work. I've started getting a bit frustrated with myself, but I also remind myself I can't just spend my whole day glued to work. That's not healthy. It's all about finding that balance of getting work done, but also making time for other things. I'm still getting everything done that I need to get done. So I guess it's fine. It's just the overachiever in me wants to get extra work done, like make more shorts or get tons of webcomic panels done. Since I technically now have more free time since I'm not like helping out with my siblings or chores or stuff like that. And I guess I'm frustrated that I'm not getting extra stuff done with the extra time I have. But yeah, sorry for the ramble. I guess I just wanted to talk out my feelings a bit. And you're all really good listeners. Anyways, back to the art. I filled in the base colors and wanted to get some kind of background in place. I thought it might be neat to have some indications of a tile underneath her. So I took a pattern from Clip Studio Paint and warped it to match the perspective and erased the edges with a soft brush. I then changed the color of the tile, and to make it feel more interesting, I used the paint bucket tool and fill in the different tiles of slightly different colors. I really like this detail and how I made the tile feel more varied. So here I was considering adding a square with a background in it, and I played around with it for a long time. I eventually went with just some color, but in the end I'll get rid of this too, and I will only keep the path. I kind of feel like I liked the picture better without the square. So now it was time to get into coloring, but first I needed to add the dragon fruit pattern the challenge wants me to add. I actually found a dragon fruit brush on the Clip Studio Paint asset library and used that for the pattern on her belt. It didn't really sound fun to draw a bunch of tiny dragon fruits, so I'm really glad I found this. Oh, also, I know the challenge said I needed to give the character a fruit-themed hat, but I wanted to make her be a dragon with horns, and I didn't want to give her a hat since she has the horns. So I'm kind of just counting the horns as her hat, since they are fruit-themed and are on her head, so I figured they could take place of the hat. As I often say, these challenges are meant to inspire you and challenge you, but if one of the prompts are hindering you in a way that you feel like isn't the best, it can be good to maybe bend the prompt or change it up a bit, because knowing me, I would have just slapped a hat on her for this challenge. But if I ever drew her again, I wouldn't have included it because I want to see the horns. So yeah, no hat. Also, I hope the way I stylized her wings is okay. I kind of based them off of bat wings and other dragon wing designs, but I also simplified them a bit. I wanted them to look simple and cute. I didn't want them to look really detailed or menacing like how bat wings and dragon wings often look. I also wanted to include some of the kind of pointy shapes from the dragon fruit. Oh, so you might be wondering what is the lore and the name for this character? And I'm going to be honest, I have no idea. Besides being a dragon princess, I didn't think of much else about her. My mind didn't even really come up with a name for her. But I feel bad not giving her a name, so I guess I'll let all of you name her. Leave some name suggestions in the comments, and I'll pin the name I like the most to the top of the comment section. I do think I have a feel for this character and her personality though. I imagine she is from a small kingdom and her kingdom is in a tropical climate. She is probably about 10 years old. For her personality, she seems very adventurous and lively. Being that she is a princess and I think an only child, I imagine she can be a bit bossy, headstrong, and wants things to go her way. She's used to getting what she wants and her parents kind of spoil her, but she is very happy and caring and brings smiles to the people around her, mostly just because she's adorable. And of course, she has a major love for dragon fruit. I'm thinking that maybe in this world, dragon people do have magical powers, but they can only channel their magic through special gems that are most often placed on wands. These gems are mined from a local mine located on the island. So yeah, those are the kind of random thoughts about this character and her world. I'm looking forward to reading your name suggestions for her. Also, as we get close to the end of this piece, I do apologize that the finished product will look a bit different. I was feeling frustrated with the background and also drawing the magic, so I took a break, and when I came back I didn't start recording again. I just didn't want the pressure of the screen recorder going for some reason. So I did some stuff off camera, but you'll see it here now in the finished result. I decided to add a texture to the background, and for the fruit floating, I added a rim of soft color around it with some sparkles to indicate the magic. So yeah, here's my little dragon princess that loves dragon fruit. And Teddy, the possibly dead guardian angel teddy bear girl thing. Both of these challenges were a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoyed watching me create them. Before we end, I want to say a super big thank you to my wonderful YouTube members and Patreon patrons, including this week's new members, Nix Williams and Anui. Thank you all so much for your support, it means so much to me. And thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next week in my next video. Bye!